Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. It's over. We finished that combat at last. And now we can have a nice, quiet episode with people talking about levels and magic and just generally pootling about. Ratings and reviews are always welcome. Throw us some stars. Find us on social media. Ask us a question. Email us at hello@billowinghilltop.com. Otherwise, I've got no other news or information. And let us push on with episode 206 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Milky Ethereal. I've started Yellowstone. Has anybody watched any Yellowstone?
I've watched Yellowstone.
It's not what I thought it was going to be at all. I thought it was going to be Dallas with horses. You're never going to have this land, blah, blah, blah. And there's a bit of you're never going to have this land. My grandpappy built this ranch in diddly-diddly-dum. But basically, otherwise, it's just people wandering around killing each other. Yes, and there's lots of sort of wisdom, in inverted commas. People say wise things slowly wearing Stetsons. There's a lot of that. Leaning against fences, watching other people do stuff with horses. That came out wrong, but you know what I mean. It's not that kind of program. And that and the Olympics. Been watching a lot of Olympics.
I watched a bit over the Olympics, some rowing, and I saw the cross-country bike race today. That was quite fun. We got the gold. This guy got the gold. He had a puncture in the second lap. Had a puncture, came back and won it.
That's like if that was me.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the tub of water and you're holding the inner tube in looking for the bubbles. Yes. Does he have to do? Imagine doing that with all the other competitors herring past you. Trying to get the thing in with those little yellow plastic things and you can't get the tyre on properly. I'd just be so fucked. Basically, I wouldn't make a great athlete.
I don't think I'd
do very well. What I do wonder, though, is that one with the gymnastics, right? The one with the square, where they stand on a big square. Sometimes they wave streamers about that, right? They stand in one corner and they do some sort of gesturing, music. Yeah. Then they run and then they just jump. They're just incredible. Simone Biles, I was watching it. It's just like unbelievable. They kind of bounce and twist and then they land. They do that slightly not quite right landing thing. Yeah. And then that's that. How much of the points that you get in that event is the bit in the middle where you're flipping about? Because if that's not that much, I reckon I could keep my head above water, right? Because either end, if it's just, do you know what I mean?
No, the tumbles, I think, are where all the
stand there in one corner, make some gestures, run across to the other corner, just jump into the other corner and go, no.
Mike, I'd pay a lot of money to see you do that.
How much money, Paul?
I don't know, lots. £5.
I don't know.
£5.75.
£5.75. Something's happened to Paul. Somebody kicked the side of the box. Paul obviously can't compete in the Olympics because
yes, I can.
He's a box.
I can compete in
pick an event.
Boxing.
Boxing. Thank you, Paul. You win.
Very good. Thank you. Obvious.
Graham's the Olympic pillage.
Yes. Well done.
Right. Oh, good. I don't have to do anything for ages. Because you've leveled up. We're not going to do a recap. We finished that thing, though, at last. That is weeks and weeks and weeks. That combat has been driving me mad. We've lost half of our readers over the course of the last month or so.
Have we?
We're down to 6 or 7 or something.
Right.
It's because of that combat. It just went on and on and on. I think people are just like, have I got the right week? They still seem to be doing the same thing.
Well, but
it's gone, it's done.
Yeah, combats are good. I like combats, and we've got more.
Yeah, no, I like combat. But it's kind of broken up into short little installments.
Yeah.
You've taken a long rest. You're in what we're calling the guard room, which is just inside the red door of the carrion pit. We should level up. Then you should have your rest. It's like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Who wants to take me through? This is going to annoy me, isn't it?
Why?
Well, because it's, what level are you now?
17th.
I mean, there's going to be all sorts of spells and powers and things. We can't do we've got no Lucas readers. He's we don't know where he is. Maybe he's at the Olympics.
Well, he's competing, isn't he?
He is competing, yeah.
winning the table tennis
with his 8 arms.
Bats.
Yeah.
The judo.
Yeah, the front crawl. Is it called the front crawl?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's called freestyle. It's called freestyle.
Front crawl. Who cares?
Yeah, it's a front crawl, isn't it? Front crawl.
Butterfly.
No, that's his mate. We can't do Parker. Let's start with
Buggy.
Let's start with Uncle Buggy.
Uncle Buggy.
Tell us about what level you are and what you get.
Okay, so I'm 18th level.
Only 2 levels remain.
I took another level of cleric. So I'm a 5th level barbarian and 13th level cleric, which is a bit odd because I feel like I'm really a barbarian primarily. But actually,
you need to take levels in barbarian.
Really, you're an acolyte.
Really feel like a barbarian.
And act like a barbarian.
I think he kind of does act like a barbarian, to be fair.
Right.
I think barbarians are meant to be like heedless of danger.
Well, no, I'm a
frothing with
barbarian. I'm a
madness,
barbarian, but I
throw themselves into combat.
Yeah, they don't hide in an
but
annoying
I'm
mist cloud.
Or leave passive-aggressive instructions on the fridge in the command centre that say, I will attack, but only
that was just
underlined.
tactical stuff. But I just didn't want him to be a probe, that's all. But he ended up being a probe, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's face it.
If we build our own role-playing game, we have a character class called the Probe.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so, well, he's a 13th level cleric, 5th level barbarian, but he really is a barbarian. I only took the cleric.
The 13th level's the cleric.
Really, the cleric levels are to boost his fighting ability. So that's with heals or other stuff that he can do.
The heals, that's the first thing you think about fighting.
Fighting ability.
Yeah, that's the number one. Number one is heals.
I need to keep the hit points up, but I do other stuff as well.
Not if you never get into combat.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not like I'm a cleric and I do occasional fighting. I'm at the front. I can be seen regularly at the front of the party. Anyway, so I took basically the cleric. Barbarian is a terribly conceived character class where it's great for the first few levels and then it just gets really boring. If I could take a level in Barbarian, I can carry twice as much as I normally could. I mean, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I've got a portable hole and a bag of holding. It's totally irrelevant.
Portable hole.
Anyway, so I think this will be the last level I do in cleric because I've got to that 7th level cleric spell and that's enough enhancement for my barbarian. And the spell I've taken,
yes,
etherealness.
God, I've had that for years.
So I'm going to be sneaking up behind the enemy, ethereal, and then suddenly appearing in this cloud of smoke.
Or you're not going to use it for when you're in trouble. Primarily,
you're not selling
keeping
this
it
to
in your
us.
back pocket, and then you get into any kind of trouble and you go ethereal in order to
I
escape.
could do that.
Yeah. I've never thought of that.
I've got a couple of
Johnny.
One is melt to stone, which
there's something.
One is melt to stone, which I've not used yet.
Death ward.
I've not used
all
melt
of these
stone.
things means you're not actually there. You can hide in a cloud of smoke. You can go ethereal. You can melt into stone.
Well, the smoke, to be fair, was
no. That's helped with my fighting. You need an exit strategy. So my exit strategy was melt to stone, which I haven't used.
An exit strategy, but why do you need 6 exit strategies? That's my question.
Well, no, this is why ethereal is not really an exit strategy. It's an attack strategy.
Well, the proof of the
anyway, I have to say that I haven't used meld to stone. I think the only time I would use it is if things were really, really bad. I mean, like TPK really bad, and I'm just going to exit that way. So I step into a rock, heal myself, sneak off.
Make sure there isn't a TPK.
Yeah. So the fact that I haven't used it yet is a good thing. I get a few more hit points. That's it, basically. I think next time I will take Barbarian, though, because I get an extra rage, and this whole thing about the Cleric Barbarian thing means I should be able to switch off the rage, do some spells, switch it back on again, so another rage would be quite useful for the next level. Anyway, that's it for me.
Oh, so as well as the extra weight allowance, you get the rage. Well. Right, there we go. Thank you, Buggy. Let's do Burple. Burpley, hippity, hobbly.
Oh, yeah, Burple has gone up a level. There you go.
Has anything happened as a result of that?
Sorry, I hadn't realised that's what you were asking. Yeah, 17th level is quite interesting. It's an extra proficiency bonus. You get +1 in your proficiency bonus. And the Song of Rest has changed from a D10 to a D12.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, was quite sure what that was, but yes.
Yeah, no, me neither. But actually, to be fair, 17th level is all about the 9th level spell, the Prismatic Wall.
Not so rubbish.
Prismatic Wall?
Yeah.
Is it concentration?
No.
Nice.
Even better. And allies can pass through it.
Nice.
It's very nice.
Well, we're going to have to look at that. As it were. I don't mean as in...
Why?
No, not in the sense that we're going to have to look at that. It may not work. I mean, we're going to have to look at it as in it's so high level, I've never read it. I don't know anything about it.
I basically have never looked at 9th level spells. But actually, 18th level is really interesting. Bards get this thing called Magical Secrets where they can learn spells from other classes. So obviously, at 18th level, I could learn stuff from wizards, like a wish.
Ooh, interesting.
Time stop. All of that.
Yeah.
Bloody bards.
Take a level of Bard, Johnny.
Yeah, why don't you take a level of Bard?
Why not?
To be fair, when you compare it with clerics, Bards are crap.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've only ever run like 3 characters in 5th edition. 2 characters in Poter, and that ridiculous fighter in your Eberron campaign, and that's about it.
No, Bards are limited limited spell choice compared with the cleric.
Yeah.
Clerics have potentially more potent spells. So I don't know. It's an odd one.
Uncle von Wunkelputz.
I have run a cleric. Wunkelputz was a good name.
I have run a cleric. That kind of heavily armoured dwarven cleric with a great big hammer.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't have to think about this character at all. You just wander it around and shout things in a German accent.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that, actually. Yeah, clerics are cool. Talking of, what about Sessions Epa?
Sessions Epa. They're very exciting 17th level.
Yes.
The class feature improved duplicity, something that I've never used. So now instead of creating one alternate version of myself, I can create 4.
Yeah. Entirely useless.
Bloody hell.
Entirely useless.
It's useful.
Actually, no, I've just been thinking that might actually be useful.
Well, it's like mirror image that you can cast spells through, right?
Yeah, but you have to concentrate on it, so you can't cast any concentration spells.
That's a bit of a
You can potentially cast
snookered
touch spells.
Yeah, and you could use it as a decoy. Yeah. That's the important thing, isn't it?
And so there are 4 of those wandering around potentially with me. And as Dan says, the interesting thing is obviously the access to 9th level spells.
Yeah, what did you pick?
I picked...
I'm grimacing.
The real Healy Burst. Since this game doesn't really have one, I picked Mass Heal.
Mass Heal, okay. Then how does that work?
That's a...
is it going to make me cross?
Probably.
Is it a heal only on lots of people?
It's...
As in a heal?
Well, as in a heal spell?
It's almost better than a heal spell, actually. In a 60-foot area, you can heal 700 hit points across anyone you choose.
That's ridiculous.
Holy fuck.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
You're never going to kill us, Mike.
That ship sailed a long time ago.
I mean, maybe one of your monsters whittles my barbarian down with his 426 hit points if I'm raging. And then you finally get him down to the last 10 and then Graham heals him back up again.
It's interesting, and I think this is a slight digression, but the more we get into this hit point craziness and whatever, we aren't going to have creatures that run around doing 250 points of damage in a round. It's not going to happen.
No.
So the way that things get dangerous is these sort of get round things. Creatures that, if you fail your save, you immediately drop to 0 hit points. Or Xyzanth with that bite attack and the staff that effectively pre-failed death saves.
I think which is you talk about the game though. You talk about 5e as not being dangerous enough. Or maybe I'm kind of misrepresenting.
No. I don't know. But I think nuance, but that's basically where I am.
Yeah, but I think you underestimate the value of the Ort dice.
If I'd understood quite how non-lethal 5th edition was going to prove to be, as we got deeper into it,
I think you would have lost at least two or three more characters.
Readers, this is definitely meta, but I've tried to not do very much. That springs from the fact that we're recording this, and we intend to kind of try and make our way through a full 12-book, 20-level campaign. But the Ort dice is nakedly something that I introduced in order to kind of give us a bit of plot, destiny, scalable stuff. Bear in mind that we're not using inspiration. But there's the lucky feat. I hadn't really sufficiently grokked what a difference that would make. Then the Boromir house rule, in retrospect, was a misstep. That's the kind of thing.
Why don't you get rid of the Boromir death thing?
Well, we might do.
Your dice, get rid of them.
Let's just see where we get to. I kind of think I rather enjoy having it doesn't seem to have helped. I mean, it's dreadful to say this. It doesn't seem to have helped Paul that much.
No. But people who know what they're doing, I think it does make
Like pointed out, I've absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
No, exactly.
No, he has got no idea what it is. You did, to be fair, Paul, deliberately retire a character at one point.
Yeah.
That took about...
And then have another one.
That was the rumour, wasn't it? I don't know if it's true or not.
We don't need to go into it.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's the official line. There's an untied up loose end, eh?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's also safe. Maybe it'd be more exciting for the readers if we lost the Ort dice and a possibility of the character death.
Readers, if you're listening to this...
Says the guy with 400 hit points.
Not me, because I got 426 hit points and I go Ethereal.
That's why you're advocating getting rid of the Ort dice.
No, oddly, though...
And I got Graham insurance policy as well.
This is so nice to be chatting about stuff and not fighting this combat still. But, Johnny, I don't know that you've got that the right way round, because you've never been in serious trouble because of taking a lot of damage.
True.
I can't remember a
single
single
instance taken out
where
Sessions
we've
insurance
chiseled through
policy,
all your hit points.
gold level.
That's fine, but that involves sessions surviving the same encounter that's managed to bump you off, and you've got 400 hit points. My point is that I think the Orc dice has saved your life a few times, because where you're vulnerable is saving throws against effects that just go round your hit points. Death Ward and the Orc dice have kept you in the game. Alessandra was killed through just damage. Got crunched by that
naked,
floaty
raw
hand.
Horrible damage.
Yeah, straightforward damage.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of our and Parker I think Parker's a bit of I was going to say he's a glass cannon, but he never does any damage. So Parker's a bit of a glass.
He does damage. It just takes a bit of time.
Water pistol. Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, Paul, let's hear about Scaly.
Scaly's not that exciting. Main thing is that
no,
generally
because you're running him.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Was he a paladin?
at least I turn up, Dan.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ow.
Oh.
Ow. Oh.
Proficiency bonus, hit points, and then 5th level spells, of which there are
5th level.
Yeah, 5th level spells, of which there are some nice ones.
Such as
displacement.
5 dice on your attack.
Banishing.
There we go.
Banishing smite.
Yeah.
Next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack, extra 5d10 force damage. That's nice.
Instead of Divine Smite.
No, Divine Smite can be used on top of.
Wow, can it?
Yeah, it's a spell.
Yeah, there's a spell versus kind of spell slot feats, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll have a look at. I'll have
spell slot sweeps.
Spell slot sweeps. Geese. How do you pronounce it? Gaius.
What?
Geese.
All
right, gaze.
All right, gaze.
All right, gaze.
Hold monster, holy weapon, raise dead. Scrying, summon celestial. These are all 5th level spells, but I'll probably just try and figure out how to use the ones I've got first. By the time we hit 20th level...
Remember the stuff you already have.
I can provide some guidance on the cleric spells if you're a bit junior.
Except that I'm not a cleric, but thanks anyway.
The apprentice altar boy.
Beneath the altar boy.
I think you'll find, Buggy, that's you.
No,
nothing interesting, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, it sounded pretty interesting.
No, there's some good stuff there, and I'm going to try desperately to remember to use my Cloak of Displacement.
The things you have.
Yeah.
Tonight's beer, Paul, it's called Hoist.
Ooh, nice.
Hoist. I should send you some because you would like it.
Oh,
you know those incredibly juicy, like they look a bit like Sunny Delight.
Yes.
They're so opaque.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Oh, lovely.
It's unbelievable. It's so nice, especially in the summer.
I'm drinking wine.
Wine!
I'm going through a wine phase.
Let's pick up with your long rest.
Oh, yes.
Parker, we can talk about his level whenever Lucas comes back. Oh, he's away for the Olympics. It's 2 weeks, isn't it? 8 hours.
Yeah.
You do hear the occasional remote bit of movement. You're pretty sure that things still live. You've looked into this chamber where Chalgar was, and you now believe no longer is.
Yeah.
That looked like it was his quarters, and you're not quite sure what leads on from that, but it's from that direction.
That's the next obvious way to go.
Have we searched that room?
What's your watch? You're taking turns.
We've got 5 people, 8 hour rest is 1 per 2 hours in it.
Okay.
With a bit of a handover. During my watch, I will go and investigate the body more.
The body of Xyzanth.
Yes.
There's not much to say about the body, per se. No real kind of apparel or chattels or anything like that. Really, all that's interesting are these 2 objects. There's this jagged black crystalline staff. Mm-hmm. Looks like it's basically made out of a sort of piece of black quartz.
Yeah.
And there's a black scimitar.
Okay. Pick up the...
Can't remember from last time. I don't think anybody picked them up.
I'm going to go and pick them up.
The staff.
Mm-hmm.
You're picking it up?
Yep.
I think you need to either sit with it for an hour or so, right, to learn how it works.
I'm happy to do that. I'm doing my watch, so I might as well.
As you reach towards it, you hear a kind of chittering, giggling, manic laughter. You can't tell if it's something you can actually hear or if it's just in your head.
It's Graham.
Which gets rapidly louder as your hand gets nearer. Do you want to proceed and pick it up?
Yep.
When you pick it up, you get a very strange sensation, like you're falling.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people describe the sensation of fainting. All of a sudden, it feels like they're just kind of... It's like you're falling towards a black pit that you realise as you pass into it is in fact the black void inside the cowl of a great robed figure. You fall into that darkness, you fall through it, and you find yourself standing so far as you can tell, unharmed, holding this thing in your hand. It is extremely cold to the touch, Scaly.
Okay.
Let's start with the rules. Does anybody know what you learn? Because I can't remember.
You just have to attune to it, eh? And
Do you
learn
have to
everything.
attune,
I think so.
You learn everything about it. Whether you want to attune to something that's evil and you're a paladin, might be a bit dodge.
One thing at a time. How many items are you currently attuned to?
2.
Did you get a bonus attunement slot?
No.
Which item would you like to use your last slot to attune to?
Scimitar.
Or do you want to de-attune something else?
No. I'll keep the Cloak of Displacement, which I've obviously used all the time.
Yeah.
And a Gauntlets of Ogre Power, which obviously...
Gauntlets?
The Gauntlets of Ogre Power, which I use as well.
It's a +2 Scimitar of Wounding, which is chaotically evil aligned, but that doesn't seem to have any kind of material effect. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pry into what you're up to, but Sword of Wounding, otherwise known as a Sword of Admin, when you hit people, they have to make a save, I think. You can look it up. They take necrotic damage if they fail that save and keep doing so.
Okay.
So basically, it's a colossal pain in the arse of an item that you have to remember, and it doesn't actually do that much damage. So it's like, you're going to feel like you ought to be doing it, because otherwise you're just carrying it around for nothing. But then if you do, it's just like, oh God, I've forgotten, and I'm going to make a save.
Isn't a scimitar versatile, though?
Scimitars are versatile, yeah. The Scimitar of Wounding is in the book, Paul, but this one is +2.
Okay.
You're high level.
I think
now.
you should give it to Parker.
Well,
1d4 points of damage.
1d4, and then the next round, another 1d4.
Oh my God.
So how much damage does it do?
Imagine? Oh, well, the Scimitar does a d6, I think, and I think the Wounding is a d4 or 2d4.
well, we'll keep hold of it.
And then you've got this staff, which you've had a bit of an experience with. Can you give me just a straight wisdom check, please, Scaly? You're not looking for an enormously high number.
So we're going to get...
That's enough.
12 plus... It's 11. I've got -1 on wisdom.
Oh, have you? That's not enough. Okay,
fine.
There we are.
Oh.
I presumed that as a paladin and with all the clericy type spells, you would had a bonus, but I was wrong.
Darn.
Where is it now? Did you put it back down?
No,
or did you put it in a bag? Or what did you do?
I'm sitting in the room with everybody else and just having a look
It's
at
sitting with you on the floor.
Yeah.
You feel it's very much still with you, Scaly.
Oh, it's with me.
Even though you put it down, you feel like you've shared a moment.
Yeah, that's all right.
1 a.m, your 8 hours are over. What do you want to do?
Got to go and...
Cases. Do you want to do some exploring?
So,
yeah, we're
Graham.
going to go and do some exploring.
Mm-hmm.
Graham, I was thinking that I could do a 4th level invisibility. If you did a 3rd level invisibility, we'd have 2 and 3. I don't really want to burn a 6th level spell to make everybody invisible, because I only get 1.
Oh, okay. There's only a slight problem with that. I can only do it at 2nd level.
Right. So that's just you.
Just me.
Okay.
Couldn't you throw a rug over Parker or something?
Stick him in the bag of holding.
Or stick him in the portable hole?
I'm not sure there's any space in the portable
It's
hole.
very comfortable. There's a table, there's some chairs.
Load of heads.
Yeah. Wolverhampton.
No, the heads are all out.
Are they? Where are all the heads?
There's the bag of holding, which has got Cheeseman.
I haven't got any heads, just a few on my back. So there is room in the portable hole.
Shall I burn a 6th level spell? To be fair, I haven't taken any 6th level spells because they're all crap.
So you've got a 6th level slot.
I've got a 6th level slot. Yeah, but it's also a confusion. It's also a wall of force.
Don't need wall of force anymore, do you? You've got the new funky.
Yeah,
upgrade.
wall of force is a block though. The other one is just it has an effect. Anyone passing through it. It's not quite the same.
Have to look that up.
It's a very long spell description.
Is it? Oh God, is it? Yeah, it's not one of the ones that's like indigo.
Yeah. All the
Green,
colours do different things. You
blue,
can bring all the colours down. It lists what you need to bring the colours down. But essentially, what it does is it does a random effect on you as you go through it, unless I can name people who can just ignore it.
And obviously, you can depend upon me not to be petty about that and like nail you to the wall if you forget to say that. Right. Let's get.
No, but I
on
never would
with
have done
the
that.
Fun. Are you casting your 6th level spell?
Yes.
The readers are impatient for us to return to this exciting
I'm casting the
combat.
6th level
All
invisibility
5
spell.
of them.
Everybody's invisible. There we go.
We had a very nice email. We're not going to read it out,
Go on, read it out.
but Michael Sauer, thank you very much. It's much appreciated.
Let's hear it.
I don't want to break up the competitive
We have been
narrative
talking
of
a
what
long
we're doing
time.
now, Johnny.
Yeah, we have been talking.
Yeah. On we go.
I mean, he wasn't that nice about Johnny.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't very nice.
in
about
that
Johnny.
case.
Are we
Well,
taking the staff thing?
Are you taking the staff thing, or are you
Yeah.
leaving it behind?
Taking it all with.
Scaly?
Taking it with.
Yeah, you feel like it's a good thing to have with you.
Yeah.
Is it evil?
Gigglingly, cacklingly so. Yes, Sessions.
Oh, okay.
Why are we keeping it?
But it seems to be...
Might be useful, could be worth
you get a warm feeling, Scaly, in your trousers.
To a lich.
When you bring it with you.
Did you try and attune to it?
Scaly has got trousers.
Attune to the scimitar.
Scaly, are you evil?
That's a very personal question.
I'm sure you must be able to cast no alignment, Graham.
Is Scaly an anti-paladin after all this time?
I think he's more a neutral paladin.
Oh.
Can you get neutral paladins?
So is Burple asking Scaly?
Yes. What are you?
Scaly goes, that's a very personal question.
It is, but you haven't answered it.
Are you an anti-paladin?
Sorry, where's that sound come from?
Which god do you worship?
The one true lord, Tiamat.
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 Yeah, Tiamat. Tiamat is evil.
Is he?
Oh, is he not? Mike, tell me about Tiamat. Who's Tiamat?
Tiamat is a kind of folk deity, a deity of the dragon. Is it Dragonborn or Dragonkin? I can never remember which was which. I don't know. I think kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a derivation. It's a corruption of Bahamut Tiamat. Bahamut is the platinum dragon.
Yeah.
The arch foe of Tiamat.
No, I don't think he's evil. I think he's neutralish. Lawful, I think, or chaotic. One of the two. Can you have a chaotic parallel?
No, you can't have a lawful
parallel.
Neutral one. It'd be a bit odd, but you could probably have
lawful
a
neutral.
Lawful neutral.
Yeah, believes in neutrality.
I can't get into this, peeps. That's between you lot.
Yeah. Okay. So
anyway, that's Bahamut or
invisible. We start.
Who's going ahead? Are you all traveling together, or are you sending a probe?
We're all traveling together.
Okay. Where are you going?
And we're sending Buggy as a probe.
Together.
Well,
sending Parker as a probe.
Yeah, Parker as a probe.
No, we're not sending Parker as a probe.
Yeah, come on.
No, Bugraft as a probe. Off you go, Buggy.
Hang on. I could send. Why don't I send Cheeseman out?
He won't be invisible.
Taking Cheeseman out.
Cheeseman won't be invisible.
It's all right. Nobody's going to suspect him.
Got to go across the pit.
Good point. What do you want to do?
Make our way to the pit and get across it. Well, that's what Scaly's doing. He's just getting up, walking.
Move your miniatures, please, so that I can, pull the right levers.
There you go.
Mike.
Yes. So you're standing in the archway, Scaly, as opposed to in the corridor where there's a portcullis.
Maybe just.
Can I do a spell before I did my invisibility?
Oh, dessert trolley.
Is that the squeaky wheel of the dessert trolley I hear?
Well,
I can't see why not.
It's not. No, it's not really
me too.
dessert
I'm going to do a
trolley.
death ward.
It's more like an aperitif.
I'm doing a death ward.
Well, what is it?
Well,
lots of orange juice.
I wanted to do clairvoyance.
Can I get drinks for the table, still or sparkling?
Clairvoyance. Before we decide to move and do clairvoyance,
you want to cast a clairvoyance spell.
Pop it on more bread.
Yeah.
You send a little. How does it work?
It creates a little disc. I pick a spot. Yeah. So facing that room.
The room that Charlgar was in on the other side of the pit.
With the pit, yes. The other side of the pit.
Do you have to pick where it's looking?
You create an invisible sensor within range in a location familiar to you, a place you have visited or seen before, or in an obvious location that is unfamiliar to you, such as behind a door, around a corner, or in a grove of trees. The sensor remains in place for the duration, and it can't be attacked or otherwise interacted with. When you cast a spell, you choose seeing or hearing. You can use the chosen sense through the sensor as if you were in its space. As your action, you can switch between seeing and hearing.
So you can look around.
So I can look around.
It's a light up there.
Look around.
But I want to pick this corner. Northeast corner of that room.
But maybe before you do that,
Northwest, sorry. Yeah.
How far does your dark vision extend?
60 feet.
So potentially you can only see 60 feet from where you put it.
Oh, I see. So you're saying I should go there, maybe?
Maybe. Or...
Yeah, there, Mike. So it's on the...
It goes round a corner off to the north.
Junction.
East. And you want to put your sensor on that corner. I'm going to reveal what you'd be able to see with your 60-foot dark vision. It is quite interesting what you can see. First of all, it's not entirely dark. There is some kind of torch light, brazier, I don't know, something. And you can see all around, right?
Okay.
So you can see that there's something odd going on.
Some kind of cage?
The floor ends with a kind of an archway looking east about 30 feet from the corner that you've placed your sensor at. And then it just goes off into darkness, and there is a cage of sorts from round the corner to the south looking out at this cage, which seems to be just hanging in the darkness, there is some kind of torch or firelight, but it's pretty dim. I'm going to say that you can see the far side of the cage, and then past the cage is just blackness. The other thing I can tell you is that looking south from your position, you can see the southern section of the room, which is in a state of some chaos. There are furs stacked up to form some kind of giant bed. There is a fire burning in the grate to your south, just the embers really of a fire, but that fire is glowing a kind of strange acid green, and tendrils of luminescent green smoke are issuing from it and kind of snaking their way into the room and dissipating.
Okay.
Give me a religion check or an arcana check, whichever is
I'm
your
equally
preference.
crap at both, so let's try arcana.
Okay, well, let's see how badly you do.
7.
7 is something about that fire, but you can't recall it. What about anybody else? Scaly is standing in the area. You know that there is a cage. Scaly, up.
He's gonna.
What about Sessions and?
I think he's
Buggy,
gonna.
of course, is the barbarian who's going to be charging it. I've forgotten. Sorry, Johnny. This is really embarrassing because right at the beginning you said you're a barbarian. You jump in.
Well, I could.
I think the phrase we're going to be using is throw caution to the wind. Yes, especially with Buggy. There's plenty of wind.
I could go ethereal and suddenly, why not?
Yep.
Why not? I'll go ethereal.
Okay.
And then I'm making my way through the walls all the way to that new portcullis that we've seen. Step into the border regions of the ethereal plane in an area that overlaps your current plane. You remain in the border ethereal for the duration, or unless you would use your action to dismiss the spell. During this time, you can move in any direction, up or down. Every foot of movement costs an extra foot. You can see and hear the plane that you originated from, but everything there looks grey, and you can't see anything more than 60 feet away. While on the ethereal plane, you can only affect and be affected by other creatures on that plane.
Yeah.
Creatures that aren't on the plane can't perceive you and can't interact with you.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm just moving up to that new portcullis in...
Yeah. Does that look right to you if I put you there on the map, your mini?
Yeah. Obviously, if there's something unusual, tell me about it before I walk right up to it. Maybe we should be on the broom cupboard.
Would you like to go into the broom cupboard? Your choice. The others being studiously silent.
Trouble is, if I come back and tell them about it, I'll have to end my spell.
Whereas if you don't go to the broom cupboard, then they can overhear me tell you it, and they wouldn't know about it, but they could then metagame their way.
I think you should go into
forwards.
the broom cupboard.
Yeah, I think it's broom cupboard.
All right,
let's do it. Let's broom. Hello. So you're standing on the edge. Effectively, the floor you're on just drops away. Not underneath you, don't worry. You've reached the edge. It's like you're standing on a balcony sort of thing. The balcony would have a
How far
wall.
down is the drop?
You can't see that far down. It's a kind of startling vista because this level you're on just ends in this void, this space. It just opens up into this. You can't see the extremes of it. Even with your 60 feet, whatever, you can't see the far side of whatever space it is that is opening up in front of you, and you can't see the floor. You can see the walls of the cave as they meet the point where you're standing, extending off into darkness to either side of you. There's a great cage. It's composed of iron grillwork, and it arches to about 30 feet above you, but you can't see the ceiling of the cave beyond it. So goodness knows how far up the cave continues above the top of the cage. The cage, the actual, as it were, the spacing of the struts, the cage bits, I don't know what you would call it, right? The mesh is such that it looks like it's quite difficult to move about. It doesn't look like it's built to hold in small things. Your foot would go through the gap. So travelling around, well, that would be a problem. You think that would be quite difficult ground. The bottom of the cage is level with where you're standing. So you could step out into the cage. I mean, you're ethereal, so you would float out into the cage. It's suspended on the side of this cavern. It looks like it's secured by kind of iron struts that it sits on. So it's like a shelf. It's like a cage on a shelf. And it looks like there are chains looking up above you, bolted into the cave wall above you that then stretch down and support the cage from above. What the hell is going on with this?
So it's almost like a lift, is it?
It's more like, you know, when some people with a letterbox, they have like a cage thing inside the letterbox for the letters to drop into. It's like you're standing at the letterbox, the opening of the letterbox, looking into the cage. There's a burning bundle of small branches or saplings or something strapped together in the southeastern corner of the cage. It's not fully aflame, it's like burning with embers. You can see the edge of the cage at that corner. The exact dimensions of the cavern are not discernible, but it goes down a long way into the darkness, you guess. If you float out and you look up a little, you can see that there's an opening in the wall above you that must lead to, you presume, a level that's above the level you're on. It's like you've got two balconies, one above another, two hotel rooms, one above the other kind of thing. Where you can see the walls of the cave, which is to either side of you and above you and below you, and all around the outside of the cage is a seething horde of writhing green worms. Fat, tentacle monsters swarm everywhere. I mean, they're beyond number. And they're not small. I mean, they're not like Chios worms in size. They are like medium to large creatures. So they're crawling over the outside of the cage and they're crawling up the walls, wiggling their tentacles. Now what would you like to do?
So this whole cavern is full of these maggots packed?
Well, you don't know. You can see the walls of the cavern to a certain extent.
Oh, and they're all stacked up on one each other. It's just a wall of worms around the outside of this cage.
Yes, it's like the word that I've got here is seething.
Okay.
Seething with worms.
So it's like a fisherman's thing with a load of maggots.
Like a bait box, like a fisherman's bait box. That's exactly what it is.
So is there a mechanism to operate the cage? Do I think it's this lever?
You
to the south?
Can't give me a perception check.
19.
A 19. Okay, well that's good. Yes, you can see a couple of things. First of all, you notice that the roof of the cage has got a sort of 10-foot by 10-foot gate or something, which looks like it's connected to some kind of hawsers or chains that may open and close it. And that those cables that might move it run off up the wall and into the area that you've identified that must be open up above you. Second thing, though, is that you notice that the whole of the base of the cage that you can see looks like it detaches, like the whole thing might open. You can't tell if that's something you would trigger from within the cage, like it's something where you would have to unbolt a bolt and it would all flip open, or whether or not it might be remotely opened. But you do get the sense that the base of the cage all falls away, or could do.
Right. So it's like a lift, but the bottom of the cage could suddenly give way and plummet everybody to the bottom of the cavern.
You don't see any evidence that this cage itself moves. It looks like it's stuck on the wall. You've walked into the bottom of it. That if you went up through the top of it, you could get to a level above you. That the base of it opens, you're not quite sure how, and that an aperture or a gate in the centre of the top of it looks like it can be opened remotely. It's very difficult to kind of picture it all, but that's what I can give you.
Right. I mean, I could carry on exploring, but I think it would probably get a bit boring for everybody else. So,
well, do you want to go back and report? What do you want to do?
The only way I can go back and report is to end my 7th level spell. Or I could do
in that case, I'm going to go back to. Well, let's go back to the other. Well, let's go back to the others. You know,
why don't you go back to the others? I'll stay in the broom cupboard.
Let's not.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'll come back.
Let's not overthink it. Right, I'll see you back there.
I like the effect of a kind of a urine yellow wash over Bugraft.
Yeah,
it's kind of a streak of yellow running straight through him. Pissed himself.
Weed himself again.
Right. Well, there you go. You don't know what happened with Johnny there. He's done whatever he's done. What do you want to do, guys?
Can we see him? Can we talk to him?
No, he's ethereal.
Okay, fine. Right.
He's doing that thing again, isn't he? Do we have to look out for the smoke?
I'm going to drift round towards where Scaly's gone, floating on the sweepstake, but staying well back. In fact, maybe I'll go into my corner from before.
So is this pit still there?
Yeah.
How do we get across the pit?
Well, it's 15 feet across, give or take.
What's the jumping rules?
Pass.
Come on, DM.
DM's guide.
I'm looking at.
I don't think there's a dice roll involved. I'm just looking it up. Jump, jump, jump. See under movement.
Jumping. I've got it. No, I haven't got it. Special types of movement. Your strength determines how far you can jump. When you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score. What's your strength score, Scaly?
19.
Right, so you can jump for 19 feet. If you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump, lucky I put that in, otherwise you'd have just jumped straight into the pit. When you make a standing long jump, you can leap only half that distance. It's very lucky, I told you this.
Yep.
Either way, each foot you clear on the jump costs a foot of movement. The rule assumes that the height of your jump doesn't matter, such as a jump across a stream or a chasm. So there you go. So with a 10-foot run-up, you can jump over the pit.
With a 10-foot run-up, I jump over the pit.
Burple can fly?
No, Burple's moved. Burple's got 21 strength.
Oh, there you go. So purple's fine. And the sweepstake takes care of Sessions. So
you're going to the other side of the pit.
There's a pool of slime on the floor with bones in it.
Chalgarth's bones.
The smell in this section is even worse. It's getting steadily worse. This acrid carrion smell. Feces and rubbish and rotten vegetables and decay and acid and everything.
I'm going to head south.
Yeah.
Having a look around. Yeah.
I've given you a description of this room and I don't know if I will bore the readers with it again.
No, except there's something at the very south wall.
That's a fireplace, and in that fireplace there are a weird acid green coloured flame and little tendrils of luminescent green smoke dissipating into the air around it.
Nothing like a hearth spirit.
You think it's probably a hearth spirit, Scaly? Yes.
I do. How do I commune with a hearth spirit?
You don't really know.
Fireball.
I'll go back and tell Sessions, there's a hearth spirit down there.
I reckon the hearth spirit will be dangerous.
Yep.
Hearth spirits protect an area, don't they? So they'll be protecting it from us.
We kind of want to be heading deeper in, don't we?
Yeah. I reckon that cage is a lift.
Ah. Well, if we go up and press some buttons.
Well, there's a lever.
Yeah.
It could be just that I'm expecting a lift into the carrion pit. Can you flip the lever and cover the pit?
Yeah.
We should go and maybe talk to the hearth spirit.
Scaly's going to go and flip the switch by the pit.
The one to the north of the arch.
That's what you're going to do.
Well, actually, Scaly, give me an intelligence check.
Oh, that's never a good idea.
Don't worry, you can't break anything.
Never say never.
Oh, 11.
Scaly, there's more than one position for this switch. It's in one particular position now. It looks like you can kind of click it back up to it's like a gear lever. You could click it back up to neutral.
Yeah.
And then you could probably click it up and then maybe move it. It looks like it's
probably
a bit of a
also does
thing.
The portcullis trap.
Precisely. There you go. You shout that back and Sessions intervenes with a bit of Graham wisdom. But just flipping it up one position closes the pit. You don't know what might happen if you were to push it up into the upper position and start,
Well, I'm
just
going to close the pit because the objective is to close the pit. I don't really care about anything else. And then I'm going to leave Sessions to go and talk to the hearth spirit. And then I'm going to go to the other lever and then wait for the others to figure out what they're doing. Because then I'm going to start farting around with that until we're all kind of ready. He's going to hold up the staff, the crystal staff, point it at where he thinks Buggy is and going to go, activate!
Okay. You really doing that?
No.
You got a feeling that activating would require a tuning and a tuning would require deepening your relationship with this object.
This sounds fun. Next rest, I'm going to undisattune from the scimitar and start attuning to the staff.
Undisattune?
Undisattune, yeah.
Undisattune, okay.
Right, well that's Scaly. That's enough from Scaly. Sessions. Parker is being left behind diplomatically. Purple.
I think I will fly
anything?
into the room round to the south of the pit. And
yes.
I'll encourage Parker to follow me.
So readers, we're looking at a room that stretches predominantly north-south. The southern portion of the room, there are skins laid on the ground and this fireplace with a hearth spirit in it. The northern section of the room has got the melted remains of Chalgar the hill giant, and then stretches round to the east, goes around a corner, and Scaly, you can see that the floor just ends and drops away into what you think is a colossal cavern. Have you got dark vision? Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Bolted to the near wall of this cavern, the floor of it, level with the floor of the level you're on, is an enormous iron cage. If you step up to the edge, you can see the far extreme of it. The outside of it is crawling, Scaly, with large green tentacled worms.
On both sides?
On the outside.
Right. But is there any reason why they can't come anywhere else?
It looks like they're too big to fit through the gaps in the cage.
Oh.
Maybe this is a bit like a shark cage.
Oh.
Got me?
So the floor of the chasm is way, way, way below where we are.
You can't see the floor of the chasm.
So there is a cage hanging over a chasm.
Honestly, it could be a mile.
Is the floor the other side of the cage that we can see here?
No, there is no floor. Like I said, it's like
just
it's
a chasm.
Lift. It's a lift on the side of the chasm.
Oh, so lift. So there's literally everything starts dropping away from the side, from the near side of the cage. So it's like you're on the edge of a cliff.
You can hear these worms squiggling about on the outside of the cage. You presume they're squiggling around all round the outside of the cage, but you can only see them at the far side because the aperture, as you look through the archway, is restricted because of where you're standing. It sounds like there are many, many more than those you can see. It's like a susurration.
Susurration?
A susurration, like a whispering, hissing, like the sound of...
What a word.
If you held your ear up to the maggots moving in a bait box.
Right.
Kind of almost like a whispering slither.
Nice. Is there another way we can go?
It's reminiscent to Burple, who's standing now close enough to hear, of the sound of the pit of worms under the ziggurat.
Yeah.
Something that Scaly did not experience.
Okay.
Well, that's not scary.
Are they treated as disease?
Is there a nature check or a knowledge monster or whatever, or is it just straight
There's nature.
Okay. Well, give me that.
4. Marvellous.
Okay. No.
Or not.
Anyone else got nature?
Nature?
Oh, I didn't know that there was a nature skill.
Yeah, there is.
There is nature plus 0.
Intelligence, nature.
This session's going to come around and have a look.
Oh, come around and have a look.
If you've got a negative number, does it mean that like you've got it, but just badly?
Yes.
Okay.
You can roll, but you're so
shit at it.
Hampered by your lack of study.
Base stupidity.
Parker has the same mating ability that I do. So sessions rolls.
Ooh, that bounced off a 16.
For a 2.
Oh, we're 19. Okay. They're not Chaos worms.
Oh.
They're green, they're unattractive, they don't smell very nice, they behave quite like Chaos worms, but they're much, much bigger.
Right.
I'm going to say that they are common enough in dungeon lore for sessions to recognise them as carrion crawlers.
Oh, carrion crawlers.
What a surprise. In the carrion pit.
In the carrion pit, yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about carrion crawlers. Let me guess, they burrow into you.
No, they paralyse you.
Their venom paralyses you.
They're more like sort of centipedes, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But hey, I just read the words on the card. What next? If you can't come up with anything that you're going to do, I'm going to go back to the broom cupboard and talk to Buggy.
Do that.
Okay, I'll see you in a tick.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah.
You don't know what they've learnt, what they've seen. You can presume that they're now near enough and that they can probably see far enough to know about the worms.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I'm quite enjoying this Ethereal, honestly. I've never done it before as a character. I'm going to move upwards into wherever the chains are going. You said it went into a hole.
So you're standing on the edge, in the archway, as it were, looking out into this abyss with the cage in front of you, and you're going straight up through the ceiling to see what you can find.
Yeah.
Okay, you arrive on another ledge. It's a much narrower aperture. To your south, there's a 10-foot wide corridor that just ends in a dead end. Head south about 30 feet, and there's just junk piled in there. There are some pieces of sacking or canvas stretched between poles that almost look like stretchers. There's some piles of old raggedy burlap cloth. Really not much else. Back the way you've come, so heading west, there is a 10-foot wide corridor, the extreme of which you can see seems to curve away to your southwest. So it goes straight west and then takes a soft left turn.
Yeah.
Immediately to your right, set into the wall, is a lever that looks very like the levers that you've seen hitherto. Maybe it's a little bit more complicated. It looks like it's got more than one position. You're not quite sure what those different positions do, but you can kind of click it up and then lock it to the left and then click it one way, a bit almost like a gear lever, or pull it down and click it another way, but you can only see it. You can't interact with it because you're ethereal.
Yeah. Do the chains at the top go end?
Yeah, somewhere in the chains that are on the top of the cage go into the wall around where you are, and there must be some kind of mechanism, some kind of apparatus built into the structure that you're in, but you can't see any exposed workings.
Does it look like this lever probably raises the cage or drops the bottom of the cage?
Very possibly. It wouldn't be an amazing leap of intelligence to determine that maybe this lever and all of this stuff are related.
Well, I'll head westwards and then bend round to the southwest.
Well now, as you work your way, float your way southwest, the corridor curves around and opens out into a chamber. Standing right on the threshold of this chamber is one that waits. Its shoulders are slumped and its head is dropped down, like its chin is almost on its chest. It's an oddly shaped chamber. It's about 100 feet east-west and perhaps 30-something feet north-south. in the northern and southern walls, there are 3 alcoves, each of which seem to be holding large stone vats. Around the room, there are stone bins, tables covered with beakers and alembics. You can see the weird cold grey light of burners, like what we would call a Bunsen burner, or little furnaces running on top of these surfaces. It looks like this is a workroom of some sort, and there is a tunnel leading further off to the west. And as you step up to the threshold, you can see that there are more of those that wait, standing around the room, also in this state of weird, slumped, shoulder down, chin down, semi-catatonic inactivity. All of these people are completely oblivious to you.
It's great. I love it.
And standing among them is the strangest creature, a female dwarf. She's wearing a stovepipe hat that's all crushed and a bit off-kilter. She's wearing a weird work smock made of patched together bits of kind of burlap and sackcloth and pilfered bits and salvaged bits of material. She's got a belt with tools and cutters and pouches and all sorts. She looks like she's a sort of, I don't know, like a cross between a chemist and an alchemist and a whatever. But she's looking intently into the southeastern corner of the chamber, where there is a plinth. On that plinth, there is a crystal ball, Puggy. And in that crystal ball, you can clearly see Burple and Parker standing in the chamber below you where Chalgar was.
Interesting.
And as you stand there, she looks straight at you but doesn't see you, and she scuttles through you up the corridor, probably heading for that lever that you just saw. And we will find out what she's up to, what she's got in store for Burple and Parker and the others, where we pick things up next week. Let's go back into the main room.
And then open into a massive sea of going.
Episode is over.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Excellent.
That's fine. What happened?
Well, we'll have to find out.
Has Johnny...
Next week.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. Kings of the Rift and Age of Worms are copyright Wizards of the Coast. Kings of the Rift was written by Greg A. Vaughan. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening!